September is National Bourbon Heritage Month, and the folks over at Louisville Food Tours, the city's top-rated, award-winning walking food tour company, has distilled a full-bodied experience that goes way beyond your average bourbon tasting. Introducing Beyond the Barrel, a walking bourbon tour with food pairings, which is the first and only tour of its kind in the world. Set in the buzzing Nulu district, this one-of-a-kind tour blends bourbon history, cocktail creativity, and top-tier local cuisine. Here to tell us more about all of the goodness is one of the founders, Jeremy Garcia. So good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
There is so much buzzing over there because you are always, coming up with these cool concepts, these tours. You have so many great reviews over on Google. So tell us a little bit about this brand new tour that you're rolling out.
We started it a few months ago, and we've kind of, as things have developed, we've added to it. And so Beyond the Barrel was really conceptualized as taking a step further into the culinary world from a typical bourbon tour. Mm-hmm. We have so many great bourbon distillery tours and bourbon experiences in town, and we wanted to blend our love of food, our love of history, and our love of bourbon all into one admittedly pretty nerdy package.
Yes.
So the concept was that we would stop at some of our nicer restaurants in town and pair a bourbon cocktail or a bourbon pour with a dish that'll bring out nuanced flavors.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, one of our stops, there's a Togarashi barley Manhattan, right? And it pairs with dumplings.
Okay.
Yeah, so to appeal to that foodie and bourbon crowd.
Yeah, well, I love that it takes it, beyond the barrel. So what was that process like from selecting the stops to really curating those pairings too?
It was a lot of hard, intense labor of eating so much good food and drinking.
I'm sure it was just hard to narrow it down.
I know, it was really hard to narrow it down. And we chose our partners based on who was really excited about the concept. And we have, a few great partners that got really into it, and they're like, we want to do something custom for you guys because this sounds like such a cool thing. And it was a really fun labor of love, and the restaurants got to nerd out, our guides got to nerd out, and so it was a fun process of finding those nuanced flavors and putting everything together.
And Louisville has such a rich bourbon legacy here. So what does this tour mean to really, honor the heritage while also bringing something brand new to the table too?
Yeah, well, like you said, it's the world's only walking bourbon food tour, and so I think that really sets it apart as is. But it sounds as though this tour is really mainly for people who are like bourbon aficionados, and that's absolutely not the case.
That's what I was gonna ask. If you need to have some bourbon knowledge ahead of time, or if a brand new beginner, maybe a tourist who has never been to Louisville before, could they take this tour and still equally enjoy it? Absolutely.
And with our tours, we try to appeal to all kinds, right? And so with this one of the first questions that we ask our guests is like, are you a bourbon rookie? Are you a bourbon professional, right? And so it really runs the gamut, and we've tried to appeal to all of those people. There's a lot of bourbon history. There's a lot of talking about how is bourbon, what is bourbon, right? And we try to really, we want everyone to leave that tour having learned something new. And we hear from locals, we hear from executive bourbon stewards, we hear from everybody like, I didn't know this and such.
Wow.
Yeah. We also learn from our guests too. They'll give us like a fun little factoid and
a little tidbit.
A little tidbit, yeah. Or sometimes a cheesy joke, and I'm like, can I use that?
Right. So just, not to give too much away, but what's your favorite little stop on the tour? Maybe a little tidbit of your own that you could kind of share with our viewers, just to give a little taste of what you can experience. I put you on the spot.
That's a really hard. I will say I don't like to play favorites with our restaurants, but I will say that two of the cocktails on the tour are very unique. So we have one that is a duck fat washed old fashioned.
Ooh, okay.
And so you get a lot of that like umami, a lot of the fat washed mouthfeel, and then another one is a clarified cocktail, which is sort of a trend that's happening right now that a lot of people haven't had before, where you put milk in the bourbon basically, and it pulls out all the color but none of the flavor. So it's like clear bourbon, but tastes like a very aged bourbon.
Really?
It's a weird sciencey thing that I don't fully understand, but I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and probably just seeing that before your eyes happening, because they're probably making it right in front of you, and then you see, oh my gosh, it's not brown drinking juice anymore, it's now clear.
Yeah, we'll drop like a clear cocktail and say it's bourbon, and they're like, are you sure that's not the water glass?
Right.
Yeah.
Is this not vodka? What is this?
Yeah, exactly.
So if people are interested in getting their hands on tickets, I know these book up so quick, especially on the weekends. What's the best place to book those tickets?
LouisvilleFoodTours.com is the best place to find them. We run them Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday evenings. Our first tour starts at 5. And it just goes all over Nulu. And they're about 3 hours long.
Oh, that was another thing too. You definitely want to bring your walking shoes for this. Like, ditch the cute shoes at home. You will be walking block to block.
Also, you want to arrive hungry because
yes.
you're going to be eating a lot.
Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for stopping by today. You're always coming up with these really cool concepts and ideas, and I just love following you guys on Instagram. I never know like what stop you're going to be at next.
So thanks. It's always great to be here.
All right. So if you're interested in learning more about booking your very own Louisville food tour, just go over to their website, LouisvilleFoodTours.com.